Hey all, it's Dormee here at Studio JRS, coming at you with another Fridays with Dormee. I hope you enjoy my vlog. If you don't, then click skip and go to the next video, like right now. This video is unplanned and I'm calling it Free Ramble because I had nothing prepared today to film for Fridays with Dormee, nothing musical. So I thought I would just maybe talk about music and my experience with music or anything that might come to mind. So feel free to comment on anything I say if you think it's wrong or right, or just anything you want to say interesting. Make sure it's interesting, because if it isn't interesting, what's the point, right? Anyway, I've been chatting with this AI called Replica. It's an app called Replica, and this AI is asking me a lot about music because I'm talking to it about music, and it's making me think somewhat about music. But anyway, that aside, that's kind of why I've been thinking about a lot of different things. But really, here's where I want to start. I looked at a friend's wall on Facebook and I saw a meme. Yeah, I guess you could appropriately say a meme. It wasn't a funny meme, but it said, "Music is what feelings sound like." And that made me think a little bit. So I commented probably because I got to thinking about it. Music is expression, right? That's commonly known. Arts are meant to express ideas, but I think they're also meant to express feelings. So music could be what feelings sound like, what we create. And it's interesting because most songs do, when there's lyrics to them and a singer, they talk about feelings. And it's funny how different sounds, different keys. If you don't know what a key is, there's basically two main types of keys. It's like a matrix of sound for musicians to play in. There's 12 different, or actually 24, 48 total different matrices, main matrices. There's definitely modes, but key wise, there's 48 different matrices, keys that you can play in with music on the 12-tone European scale. And that's like, the piano is the best representation of the 12-tone European scale, but most instruments from Europe, all instruments from Europe as far as I know, and that have been created elsewhere besides Asia, have been using the 12-tone scale for a long time now. And the tempered 12-tone scale that Bach perfected so that we can play in more than just one keys. But these keys, you have a major key and a minor key. That's very basics, very simple. And major usually is associated with happiness or light feelings, and minor is associated with sadness or dark feelings. Now there's different ways and different intervals. Intervals are the distance between one note to another, and making up, you can make triads using intervals. Triads meaning 3 notes together. And we can also call those chords, although chords can be more than just 3 notes together, but they can make something sound more than just sad or happy or bright or light or dark. It can make things sound evil, or it can make things sound innocent or simple. It's just really amazing. Where do I want to go with this? This really doesn't have a point to it, but I hope you find this interesting. Maybe I should talk about a composer that I identify with, because I don't know if some of you know, but I've been diagnosed with a mental illness. It's called schizoaffective disorder, and I think it's also contributed to my talent in music somewhat, but it's also kind of a bummer, to be honest. I have to take medication every day. So if I seem crazy to you sometimes, it's probably because I really am. But there's a famous composers. Of course, you've heard of Beethoven, who went deaf later in life. But there's composers who actually went crazy later in life. And a famous composer who you may not have heard of, because he's not as popular as, like, say, Bach, Mozart, or Beethoven. Those are the three very popular classical musicians. But this composer, his name was Schubert. I'm sorry, not Schubert. As far as I know, Schubert didn't go crazy. Schumann. And for the life of me, I can't remember his first name. Probably Friedrich Schumann. I think that was his first name. But he composed a lot of works for piano. I think mostly for piano, but don't quote me on that. But he went crazy later in life, and he made up in his head I don't know how we know this, probably from letters he sent to his wife, Clara Schumann. So I remember her name. Frederick and Clara. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Frederick. But he made up a secret society all in his head that he thought was real, but in reality, none of these people that he included in this secret musical society knew about this society. So that's how we knew he wasn't stable mentally. He was making things up that he believed were real. And we call that a delusion. And some of these, he made up a society in his head of special musicians that included himself, of course. I think a lot of ego has to do with mental illness. A lot of ego is in that. I don't know. I'm not really qualified to speak on mental illness, and also I think Mendelssohn was included in that. Mendelssohn's another famous classical composer who brought to light a lot of Bach's works, and that's why we know of Bach's works. Anyway, I just think that's interesting, and I kind of identify with Schumann because he had mental troubles, and I have mental troubles. But he was also a genius, and I played some of Schumann's works, and they are definitely genius. I don't know, I'm not sure if they're up to genius on Beethoven's level, but they could be. Beethoven is a different animal. He's kind of a composer all to his own. He defined his own genre. It's Beethoven. You know the old Charles Schulz comics, Peanuts, with Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and then you have Linus playing Beethoven all the time on his little toy piano, and he just keeps shouting Beethoven because Beethoven was bombastic. And I think Charles Schulz knew this when he was writing the comments and thought it was funny. And it is a little funny when you think about it. Beethoven would make ruckuses in his upstairs apartment where he lived. He would pour water on his head and it would leak down into the floors below. He would just do a lot of strange things, especially when he was going deaf. And I think he became a little senile older. A lot of his later works were rather atonal, not atonal, but dissonant. I want to explore more Beethoven's later works. I keep telling myself that, but I haven't. If you know anything about Beethoven's later works in life, when he was totally deaf, besides like his Symphony No. 9, I know about that, but like maybe his piano sonatas, I'm curious, his later piano sonatas, anything interesting, comment down below. I would like to know about that. I think, it's 9 minutes already, or past 9 minutes. Anything else to talk about, music-wise? I'm drawing a blank. I'm starting to get into ending the video mode. By now, my secret track, you know the title of it. It's called, well, I'm gonna link to it below. If you don't know the title of it, you can find it below, a link to it, and you'll know the title of it. It's out now on YouTube. For some reason, CD Baby keeps screwing up my artist name. I want it to be all caps, but for some reason they're having a hard time doing that. They usually don't. CD Baby usually is really good and has great customer service, but lately they've been falling a little short. Anyway, I don't mean to diss them, but if they could improve that, if anyone from CD Baby is listening, that needs to be worked on. Anyway, please do listen to my secret track. I think you'll find it very interesting. Can you guess whether it's in a major or minor key? I'm not gonna tell you. Comment in that video. So it's already premiered. I'm sure you probably got a notification of it, maybe, unless this is the first video you're watching of me and you don't actually subscribe or hit that bell. Anyway, check that out. You might think it's interesting. If you like my music, please comment. I love to read comments. So I think that's just the big thing. I'm still working with Justin Pauly we're now on the 4th song, and he wants to release the last 3 in his series called Hopeless Lovers. The 2 are out right now, and I'll link below. The first one's called Darlin, the second one's called Another Night, and it features Ashley Page. The third one's called, well, I'm not going to tell you what it's called. I think I've already said it though. Anyway, Dreams Come True. Yeah, I've already said it, I remember. Anyway, this is getting really rambly. This has been a free ramble video, so I hope you enjoy that. Whenever I don't have anything prepared, this is what you're gonna get. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope I can find other things to talk about in my next free ramble video. Alright, have a great weekend or weekday. Have a great day whenever you watch this video, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.